I never thought a single test could change everything. I had always considered myself careful, logical, in control. But that morning, when I stared at the small stick in my bathroom, the two little lines staring back at me felt like an explosion. I'm pregnant? My heart raced, and my mind spun. Questions collided. How? When? What does this mean for me? It wasn't supposed to happen. I had always imagined pregnancy as something distant, something other people experienced. But here I was, staring at a reality I had never prepared for. Panic surged first, tight and suffocating, followed by a strange, unexpected wave of curiosity. What would it feel like to carry life inside me? To feel my body change, my senses heighten, my perspective shift entirely? The next few days were surreal. I couldn't tell anyone yet, not friends, not family. Even getting out of bed felt strange, my body already feeling different, my stomach slightly tender. The world seemed sharper, more vivid. Colors were brighter, sounds more resonant. I realized almost immediately that pregnancy wasn't just a physical transformation, it was emotional, psychological, and, somehow, profoundly intimate. At work, I struggled to hide the changes. I adjusted my clothing to accommodate the growing bump that no one yet noticed, but my posture shifted, my movements became slower, more deliberate. Colleagues remarked that I seemed different. You look tired, someone said, half concerned. I smiled, brushing it off, but inside, I was acutely aware of every subtle change, the roundness of my cheeks, the softening of my features, the unexpected curve of my hips. Even small things became loaded with meaning. Sitting at my desk, I felt the slight pull of my stomach muscles, the gentle sway in my walk as I went to meetings, the way my body seemed to crave comfort and softness. I caught glimpses of myself in reflective surfaces, and the reflection staring back felt both familiar and alien, a version of me that was softer, warmer, and undeniably feminine. At home, the exploration began in private. I experimented with looser, softer clothing that hugged my body without constricting it. I traced my hands over my growing belly, marveling at the new contours, the warmth beneath my fingertips. I tried subtle makeup, soft blush to accentuate my cheeks, lip gloss that highlighted the gentle swell of my lips. Each change, each enhancement, made me feel more connected to this evolving body, this evolving identity. Sometimes, curiosity overtook me. I would stand in front of the mirror for long stretches, studying every detail. How did my posture shift when I leaned forward? How did my hips move differently when I walked? How did the light catch my hair, my skin, my changing figure? It was intoxicating, frightening, and exhilarating all at once. And then there were the sensations, the fluttering kicks, the sudden warmth, the strange tingling as my body adjusted to life inside me. I whispered to the mirror, to myself, "This is you now. This is real. You're becoming someone different, beautiful, alive." A shiver ran through me as I imagined the life growing inside, the complete transformation it symbolized, not just physically, but emotionally, socially, and even spiritually. The first public outing in my new state was terrifying. I chose loose-fitting clothing to conceal the early bump, soft fabrics that didn't restrict movement. Every step outside my apartment felt like stepping onto a stage. People's glances felt sharper, every whisper in passing heightened my awareness. Do they notice? Do they suspect? My heart raced, but beneath the fear was a thrilling curiosity. How would strangers respond to this new version of me? I noticed subtle reactions immediately. A stranger held the door longer than necessary. A cashier offered a gentle, warm smile. Even the way I moved through space, slower, more deliberate, more careful, drew attention. Each interaction reinforced the strange duality I was living, part fear, part excitement, part empowerment. I was learning to exist in this new body, this new persona, without hiding. At work, my colleagues began noticing subtle changes. My features seemed softer, my movements more fluid, my voice sometimes gentler. I caught glimpses of myself in the office windows, and the reflection was undeniably different. Even without the bump being obvious yet, my presence had shifted. I realized that pregnancy was altering not just my body, but how the world perceived me, and how I perceived myself. Curiosity led me to experiment further. I tried maternity clothing designed to accentuate the feminine form, soft fabrics that celebrated my curves instead of hiding them. I styled my hair differently, letting soft waves frame my face, enhancing the subtle roundness of my cheeks. Makeup became a ritual, a way to reclaim control and celebrate the evolving beauty of my body. And then, the secret thrill began. I started exploring more overtly feminine behaviors, crossing my legs in a more delicate way, walking with a slight sway, softening my voice when speaking. It was small at first, almost imperceptible, but each change gave me a rush of excitement, a sense of discovery. My reflection in the mirror felt less like a stranger and more like a version of me I had always wanted to meet. I found myself imagining scenarios where I could fully embrace this femininity, in public, with strangers, even at home. It was terrifying and intoxicating. I whispered to my reflection late at night, "This is you. Strong, beautiful, alive. Don't hide anymore." And with each whispered affirmation, I felt more powerful, more confident, more fully myself. The true test came when I decided to attend a social gathering, friends, colleagues, people who knew me before the changes. The outfit was a mix of maternity and style, soft fabric clinging just enough to show the gentle swell of my belly, makeup perfectly applied to highlight my softened features, hair flowing in gentle waves. The moment I entered, I felt every eye on me. Whispers swirled, some curious, some admiring, some shocked. I felt the familiar flush of embarrassment, the racing heartbeat of fear. But this time, it was different. I also felt pride, a deep, unwavering sense of empowerment. This was me. Every glance, every murmur, every subtle observation confirmed that I was no longer hiding. I was fully present. Friends approached cautiously at first. "You look different," one said, hesitating. "Beautiful," another added. And I realized I didn't need to explain, justify, or apologize. I was inhabiting my truth, and the world was responding. Their reactions, ranging from surprise to admiration, only strengthened my sense of self. At home, I explored the transformations further. Mornings became rituals of preparation, soft robes, gentle makeup, careful styling of hair. I walked deliberately, feeling every curve, every subtle movement, savoring the sensation of inhabiting this new body. Nights were reflective, standing in front of the mirror, tracing the contours of my evolving figure, marveling at the warmth and life that pulsed within me. I realized that the transformation was not just external, it was internal. Pregnancy had forced me to confront vulnerabilities, fears, and desires I had long suppressed. But it had also given me power, beauty, and the ability to fully embrace a version of myself I had never known. The sensations, softening skin, gentle swell of curves, heightened awareness of every touch and movement, became affirmations of my evolving identity. Every kick, every flutter from within my womb was a reminder of the life I carried and the transformation I was experiencing. The climax arrived unexpectedly. A close friend, someone I trusted, discovered my secret. Their initial shock mirrored the panic I had felt months ago. I had no idea," they whispered, voice trembling. I held my breath, ready for judgment, ridicule, or rejection. Instead, they reached out, touching my arm gently. "You're beautiful. Strong. I admire this." Their words hit me like a tidal wave. Years of fear, shame, and secrecy dissolved in an instant. I realized that embracing my transformation fully, not hiding, not fearing, not apologizing, was the true path to empowerment. From that moment, I walked with confidence. Social gatherings, public outings, and even casual interactions became celebrations of my identity. The pregnancy, the transformations, the evolving body, they were no longer secrets or sources of fear. They were sources of pride, beauty, and self-discovery. As the months passed, my confidence grew. I navigated the world with a newfound grace, blending the soft femininity of my evolving body with the strength I had always carried. I experimented with clothing, makeup, hairstyles, and public behaviors, each time pushing the boundaries of comfort and embracing the thrill of self-expression. Family, once hesitant, slowly adjusted. Supportive words replaced judgment, acceptance replaced skepticism. I found strength in community, in friends who admired and encouraged me, and in the mirror, where the reflection staring back was no longer alien but fully familiar. Standing in front of the mirror one quiet night, I traced my curves, my softened features, and the gentle swell of my belly. I whispered softly, "You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are alive. You are her. You are me." And for the first time, I believed it fully. Pregnancy had been the catalyst, but the true transformation was beyond physical. It was emotional, psychological, and deeply spiritual. I had learned to embrace vulnerability, harness fear, and step into a version of myself I had never imagined. Now, every step I take, every glance, every interaction is a celebration. I am no longer hiding. I am fully, unapologetically me, pregnant, feminine, empowered, and alive. The secret no one talks about. Transformation is not something to fear, it is something to embrace, cherish, and celebrate. The first week after the test was a blur of anxiety and disbelief. At work, I tried to act normal, but every step felt heavy, every movement amplified. Sitting at my desk, I caught glimpses of my reflection in the computer screen. My cheeks looked rounder, softer, and my eyes seemed a little wider, brighter. Am I imagining this? I wondered, panic and curiosity warring inside me. Conversations became tricky. Colleagues joked about me looking tired or distracted, and I laughed nervously, trying to hide the truth. Every gesture felt different, even walking to the bathroom felt like an ordeal. I noticed subtle changes. My hips swayed a little differently. My voice sounded softer than usual when I spoke. It was terrifying. Is this what pregnancy does to me already? At home, I began experimenting in secret. The closet became a small sanctuary of self-discovery. Soft, stretchy tops, skirts that emphasized gentle curves, and loose fabrics that moved with me. I traced my hands over my abdomen, feeling the slight tightness, the tender warmth of early change. My body was already responding, and I couldn't help but marvel at it. Makeup became a ritual. I learned to apply soft blush to accentuate the new roundness in my cheeks, a touch of lip gloss to highlight my lips, and subtle eye makeup to brighten my eyes. Standing in front of the mirror, I whispered, "This is you. This is real." It was equal parts thrilling and terrifying. I was becoming someone new, someone undeniably feminine, yet intimately connected to the life growing inside me. Even mundane actions started to feel loaded with significance. Pouring a cup of tea, adjusting my hair, leaning forward to pick up a notebook. They all felt different. I noticed the way my body shifted, how my posture changed, how the mirror reflected a softer, gentler me. There was fear, yes, but also a rising excitement, a curiosity I couldn't suppress. Every night, I spent hours experimenting with subtle changes. Crossing my legs delicately, moving with slower, deliberate gestures, practicing softer speech. Each small discovery felt like unlocking a hidden part of myself. I realized that this transformation was not just physical, it was emotional, psychological, and profoundly intimate. A few weeks into the pregnancy, I decided I couldn't stay hidden any longer. The changes in my body were becoming more noticeable, subtle curves appearing, my belly beginning to show a gentle swell. I picked out a soft, flowing dress that hugged just enough to suggest femininity without drawing too much attention. My hair fell in loose waves around my shoulders, and my makeup was natural yet deliberate, highlighting my softening features. Stepping outside felt like stepping onto a stage. Every glance from passers-by felt magnified, every whisper in passing seemed aimed directly at me. My heart raced, a mix of fear and exhilaration. Do they notice? Do they know? I walked slowly, deliberately, feeling the sway of my hips and the subtle roundness of my belly. Every step felt like an experiment in self-expression. The reactions surprised me. People were curious, yes, but often warm and approving. A stranger smiled as I held the door for them, a cashier offered a compliment, and a friend at a cafe whispered, "You look amazing." My cheeks flushed, and a thrill ran through me. For the first time, I realized that embracing these changes could feel empowering, even joyous. At work, the transformation became harder to hide. My movements were softer, my posture more deliberate. Even my voice had changed slightly, gentler and warmer. Colleagues noticed. Some whispered, some looked surprised, but most were curious rather than judgmental. Each glance I caught in reflective surfaces, the polished windows, my computer screen, showed me a version of myself I hadn't fully recognized before. It was still me, but more feminine, more alive, and more undeniably present. Encouraged by these small victories, I began experimenting more boldly in public. I went shopping in maternity wear, letting my clothes celebrate my curves instead of hiding them. I practiced soft, deliberate gestures, crossing my legs, tilting my head, letting my voice carry warmth and charm. Each interaction, Each compliment, each approving glance became a validation of my evolving identity. The real turning point came at a weekend gathering with friends. I chose a flowing dress that highlighted my curves and my softening belly, styled my hair carefully, and applied makeup with a newfound skill. The moment I arrived, I felt every eye on me. Whispers and subtle stares swirled around, and my pulse raced with both fear and excitement. But instead of panic, a sense of pride took over. This was me. I was no longer hiding. Friends approached, tentative at first. "You look different," one said, hesitant. "Beautiful," another added, softly. And I realized I didn't need to explain or justify myself. The room, the world, had already acknowledged my presence, my transformation, my femininity. With each compliment, each accepting glance, my confidence grew. I was learning to inhabit this new identity fully, to embrace it, and to enjoy it. Even small outings became exercises in empowerment. A trip to the park, a walk through the market, or a casual coffee run, all felt like stages where I could practice my new self. The thrill of being seen, of existing in a softer, more feminine body, and of carrying life inside me, was intoxicating. With every step, every movement, every interaction, I felt more aligned with the person I was becoming. The climax came unexpectedly, in the middle of a bustling Saturday afternoon. I had decided to attend a family gathering, a choice that filled me with equal parts excitement and dread. This was uncharted territory. People who had known me before the pregnancy would see the changes firsthand. My heart pounded as I put on a flowing dress that highlighted my softening curves and gentle swell of my belly. Makeup and hair were perfectly styled, projecting confidence I was still learning to feel internally. Walking into the living room, I felt every eye on me. Whispers rippled through the crowd, curious, surprised, and in some cases, admiring. My chest tightened, fear and anticipation warring within me. They are going to notice. They are going to judge. Or worse. But then, I reminded myself, this is me. The person I had been hiding was gone. What remained was real, feminine, and undeniably alive. The first confrontation came from my sister, her eyes wide. "You look different," she said, voice trembling. "I mean, wow." Relief and validation washed over me. Instead of ridicule, she reached out and gently touched my arm. "You're beautiful," she whispered. "I love you, and I'm proud of you." My knees almost buckled from the weight of those words. Years of fear and secrecy melted away in a single moment of acceptance. Friends and family circled closer, offering smiles, small gestures of approval, and words of admiration. "You're glowing," my mother said, her voice soft and tender. "So, happy and radiant." Even my father, quiet and reserved, nodded with a small, approving smile. I felt a warmth spread through my chest. The anxiety that had dominated every outing, every experiment in public, dissolved. I wasn't just accepted, I was celebrated. In that moment, I realized that the true power of this transformation wasn't the physical changes, the soft curves, the gentle sway, the heightened femininity, it was the courage to embrace them fully. The pregnancy had been a catalyst, yes, but the transformation went deeper. I had learned to navigate fear, to own vulnerability, and to step confidently into a new version of myself. In the following weeks, the confidence I had begun to cultivate only grew. Social outings, errands, and even casual public interactions became opportunities to express this new self. I experimented with different styles of clothing, makeup, and behavior, each time discovering new ways to inhabit my femininity while embracing the life inside me. Every flutter, every kick from my growing child reminded me of the power and beauty of creation, of transformation, and of living authentically. The most profound shift was internal. I no longer hid from mirrors, I no longer feared whispers or glances. Standing in front of reflective surfaces, I saw someone strong, beautiful, and alive. I had discovered that empowerment was not about perfection, it was about embracing vulnerability, celebrating change, and owning your identity without apology. Even my work life changed. Colleagues who had noticed subtle shifts in my posture, voice, and demeanor became curious, supportive, or quietly admiring. I walked through the office with poise, moving with a soft grace I had cultivated over weeks of experimentation, practice, and self-discovery. Each interaction reinforced a simple truth: Embracing transformation fully, openly, and authentically is a source of immense personal power. In quiet moments, I would stand in front of the mirror, tracing my curves, the gentle swell of my belly, and the softness of my features. I whispered to myself, "You are beautiful. You are powerful. You are alive. You are her. You are me." And for the first time, I believed it fully. Pregnancy had been the unexpected catalyst, but the transformation it inspired went far beyond the physical. It reshaped how I moved through the world, how I interacted with others, and how I perceived myself. I had learned to embrace fear, explore curiosity, and cultivate confidence. I had discovered a deeper, more authentic version of myself, and I had the courage to let the world see her. The secret no one talks about isn't just pregnancy itself, it's the transformation it brings, the empowerment it ignites, and the beauty of embracing every part of yourself, without shame or hesitation. Standing in that quiet room, feeling the life within me, I realized that the journey was only beginning. And for the first time, I was excited for every step that lay ahead. Now, looking back, I realized that this journey was never just about pregnancy or the changes it brought to my body. It was about discovering courage I didn't know I had, embracing a version of myself I had hidden for far too long, and learning to move through the world unapologetically. Every flutter, every soft curve, every subtle sway of my body became a celebration of identity, life, and self-expression. I've learned that true transformation isn't simply physical, it's emotional, psychological, and deeply empowering. The fear, the uncertainty, the whispers of doubt, they were all part of the process. And yet, when I embraced vulnerability, faced judgment, and allowed myself to grow, I discovered a power I could never have imagined. Now, each day is a conscious celebration. I walk with confidence, dress with intention, and carry myself in a way that honors both the life growing inside me and the person I've become. Friends, family, colleagues, they see the authenticity, the strength, and the beauty. And most importantly, I see it too. To anyone who feels trapped by fear, self-doubt, or the unknown, transformation is possible, and it is beautiful. Life will push you into unexpected changes, but how you embrace them defines your strength. I am no longer hiding. I am fully alive. I am proud. I am feminine. I am empowered. And the journey has only just begun.